My student told me she could get me fired whenever she wanted. I got her expelled instead. I had been teaching high school English for 14 years. I had seen every type of student. The quiet ones who never raised their hands, the loud ones who couldn't stop talking, the struggling ones who needed extra help, the gifted ones who were bored. I had dealt with attitude and defiance and laziness, and every other challenge a classroom could throw at me, but I had never met anyone like Waverly Kemp. Waverly transferred to our school in October of her junior year. Her father was some kind of executive who had just relocated from out of state. Within her first week, I learned 3 things about her. She believed rules didn't apply to her. She thought teachers existed to serve her, and she had been told her whole life that her father's money made her untouchable. The problem started on day 1. Waverly walked into my 4th period class 15 minutes late without a pass. I asked her to get one from the office. She said no. She said she didn't need a pass because she was new and still learning the building. I said that was fine for the first day, but she still needed to check in at the office. She rolled her eyes and sat down without responding. I let it go because I wanted to give her a chance to adjust. That was my first mistake. The next day, Waverly came to class on time but spent the entire period on her phone. I asked her to put it away. She said she was texting her father about something important. I said she could text him after class. She said her father's business was more important than my lesson. I said my classroom had rules and one of them was no phones during instruction. She put the phone in her bag but glared at me for the rest of the period. After class, she stopped at my desk. She told me her father donated a lot of money to the school district. She said I should think about that before I embarrassed her again. I told her I would treat her the same as every other student. She said that was my choice and walked out. Over the next few weeks, Waverly tested every boundary she could find. She talked over me during lectures. She refused to do group work because she said her partners weren't smart enough. She turned in assignments late and expected full credit. She argued about every grade she didn't like. When I gave her a C on an essay, she demanded I change it. I showed her the rubric and explained where she lost points. She said rubrics were arbitrary and I was targeting her because I didn't like her family. I said her family had nothing to do with her comma splices. She stormed out of my classroom and went straight to the principal. That afternoon, I got a visit from our principal, Dr. Whitfield. He said Waverly had complained that I was singling her out and grading her unfairly. I showed him the essay and the rubric. I showed him that I graded every student the same way. He looked at the work and nodded. He said he would talk to Waverly and her father about appropriate expectations. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. Waverly came back the next day more hostile than ever. She told me in front of the whole class that her father had called Dr. Whitfield personally. She said changes would be coming soon. She said teachers who didn't know their place usually found themselves looking for new jobs. Some of the other students looked uncomfortable. A few looked scared for me. I just told Waverly to take her seat and open her textbook. She smirked and sat down like she had won something. The following week, Waverly's father requested a meeting with me and Dr. Whitfield. His name was Brent Kemp, and he walked into the conference room like he owned the building. He didn't shake my hand. He sat down and immediately started listing his donations to the district. He mentioned the new scoreboard at the football field. He mentioned the computer lab at the elementary school. He mentioned the scholarship fund he contributed to every year. Then he told me his daughter would be receiving an A in my class from now on. I told him grades were earned, not assigned. He said I wasn't understanding him. He said his daughter would receive whatever grade he decided she deserved. He said if I had a problem with that, I could take it up with the school board, half of whom he had personally golfed with. Dr. Whitfield cleared his throat. He told Brent that while the district appreciated his generosity, academic integrity was not negotiable. He said grades reflected student work, and no amount of donations could change that. He said if Waverly wanted better grades, she would need to put in better effort. Brent's face went red. He said he didn't appreciate being lectured. He said he would be making some phone calls. He said people would be hearing about this. Then he left without another word. I expected things to get worse after that. I expected to be called into more meetings, or pressured to change my grading. Instead, something surprising happened. Dr. Whitfield started documenting Waverly's behavior himself. He asked me to keep detailed records of every disruption and every incident of disrespect. He said he had dealt with families like the Kemps before, and the key was having everything in writing. Over the next month, I documented everything.